Welcome, everybody. Thanks for joining us on this webinar at the WP Agency Summit. I'm here with Augustin Prot, who is the co-founder of Weglot. And as we see, Weglot is one of the leading translation services. And we are going to walk you through how to manage and excel in multilingual projects. Augustin, thank you so much for supporting the event as a silver sponsor and for coming onto this webinar.
Thank you very much, Jan. Thank you for having me. Good morning, good afternoon, everyone. I don't know where you're based, so maybe morning,
Everywhere.
Everywhere. I'm Augustin, as you said, CEO and co-founder of Weglot, and I'm super happy to have this exchange. This is Laura from our team. You're in our office. And so, ask me any question. The goal is to answer everything you have in mind or not.
Yeah, that's a very good point, Augustin. We are here to help you get your questions answered. So if you are facing a multilingual project or you want to start selling them because they can be highly profitable, definitely reach out to Augustin. Put your questions in the chat below, whether you are watching on Facebook, on YouTube, or on the website. We'll make sure that the questions get answered. And you have some slides for us, so I'll just bring those up and then we can start working through those, and I'll interrupt you if I have any questions.
Yeah, sure. Don't let me be the boring guy just reading his slides. It's really not how I want to do that. The goal here is really about don't be shy. Say hello. Send anything you have in mind in the chat. Ask any question. I'm more than happy to answer them. I really don't want to be the boring guy. But since we don't have questions yet, maybe I should start by give you a brief overview of what's Weglot. We're basically a solution to make any website multilingual. What we saw and what we noticed is that translations, multilingual, it's really boring for developers, for web agencies, but also for marketing and communication people. So that's where we're coming in and trying to offer a solution that's easy to use, easy to sell, and that can bring you more customers as the end users. We're doing three things. I think we're quite good at it. First is easy to install, easy to use, no coding required. It's really in this no-code trend that you see everywhere, but it's really about that. We started it 5 years ago, and it's really about helping anyone that doesn't know how to code to add translation to the website. Then it's about when you have that on your website, how do I manage translations? So we're also providing tools to do that. And then in the end, it's obviously making sure that Google and other search engines can see the translated version of your website. So getting more traffic and less maintenance because you don't need any tech intervention to do that.
What really impressed me with your technical solution on the installation and then the maintenance part is how little loading time you add to the website. So you are very, very efficient in terms of injecting your scripts into any platform. So Weglot is not just for WordPress, it's platform agnostic really. And obviously there is a WordPress plugin. And you add like what, 100 milliseconds on average to the loading time of a website?
Yes, exactly.
Wow.
Yeah, like you said, we're not only WordPress, but we started out in WordPress, and thanks to WordPress. Well, to give you, we at the very beginning we had just a JavaScript snippet, but it didn't really work because for SEO it was not performing enough. And then we started doing. I was actually going through. Workplaces, going at every shoulder of the tables and asking people, do you have a website? And say, yes. Okay, install my JavaScript snippet. And guy said, yeah, I don't have, do you have a WordPress plugin? I don't know how to add JavaScript snippets into my website. And we didn't have it this time. We didn't know about WordPress. And that's how we did our plugin. And that's how we discovered WordPress. And that's how we get our real first customers and users. And it really started out with WordPress. Now we're available on any platforms, custom or other CMSs, but WordPress is in our DNA, and it's more than 50% of our users today.
Love it.
And yeah, to answer your question, because I didn't answer the question about about performance and loading time. Yeah, loading time is super important. We know that. We're adding an extra 100 milliseconds on average to websites, but we're also compatible with any caching solution you can have, either at WordPress level or any other level. So, I mean, if you already have something performing, and I'm sure you're using caching plugin or other solutions, I mean, it's working out of the box with us too.
Yeah, and you can see that in action when you look at the session that I did with Thomas Franchard for this summit. If you just search for that on the sessions overview, you'll see him install Weglot on this exact website, and he'll walk you through the process, and you'll see how quickly we were able to turn the entire website into French, even though I don't speak a single word of French. So that was really impressive.
Yeah, thank you for that. But yeah, if you don't have any question, I can keep reading my slides.
Yeah.
Give you 3 stats. I mean, we started out. I mean, we created the company and the solution in 2016, and now we're proud to say that we have more than 50,000 websites using us. We translated more than 1 billion pages in 2019, and we have more than 100 languages available. So the goal here is not to try to show you with the best with all the metrics. It's just to let you know that we're a reliable solution. We're partners to our customers and to agencies and to freelancers using us. It's really about. I mean, you can't be just a one guy solution when you have 50,000 websites using you.
True.
It's an API based solution. So if we're down, they don't have any translated pages. So it's important. We're super reliable. And yeah, but also we're proud of this number too.
Of course you can be, and that is actually part of the reason I personally have not engaged so much in multilingual websites, is because when I was using the .mo and .po files to translate with PoEdit or some other tool, Loco Translate, the free plugin, it is a pain to manage, to be honest. It's really not fun to translate websites using .mo and .po files. So when I was looking at the next multilingual project, I definitely want to have a different solution, and I want to have something that I can rely on and that I can recommend, knowing that my customers won't be let down by that solution. It's a very good point.
Thanks for that again. And yeah, I mean, as you said, it's funny you mentioned PO and MO files, and yeah, it's the way it has always been done, or using string files or YAML or whatsoever, and it's, I mean, it's boring for the dev part, and it's boring and a pain in the ass for the communication and marketing part. So
Yeah.
it's a huge opportunity for us, really, from a pure business perspective and solution perspective. It's huge, and that's because my co-founder and the CTO of Wiglet experienced this issue in his previous startup. That he has this idea. He did not understand why he spent so many hours doing that, and what we're trying to do every day, and we're very focusing on that, is solving these pains. So if I mean, I think we're already delivering something that's solving it, but we're improving every day, of course. And one way to do that is, if we have agencies recommending us, it's another level of expectations. I mean, from the very beginning, we had very small businesses, even solo blogs, a side business, or hobbies using us, which was great. I mean, it was a huge opportunity. I mean, when you have one user, you're super happy when you're starting something. So it was really great. But now we have the chance to have more and more customers, and we're still doing very small ones, but we also have big names coming to us, and I mean, we can see the value we're providing, and we feel there is something I mean, it's something to provide this value and to get this customer experience, and they're super happy to use us. It's really, I mean, it's a great feeling, and when it's happening with agencies, it's also amazing, because they're putting their names behind their recommendation. So it's even harder for them, and we know that.
Yeah, and it is a great example of the quality of leadership in your company, I think, because as we'll see on the next slide, you really have some big names on, and you are still investing a lot of effort into your agency partnership program. You're investing a lot of effort into joining events like this one, where you're just here to educate people. And and that slide already took it away. Yeah, so
yeah.
so it really is about educating and sharing value rather than preaching for an hour how great Weglot is. So I appreciate that a lot, and I wish that more companies would do that.
Yeah, if I'm here today and sometimes I'm proud of Weglot, it's because we work so hard to making sure that every user, including free ones, are happy with the solution. We're delivering a product, not service, so we're trying to make this product as efficient as possible and improving it based on the feedback we have. And I think it's also one of the good thing about being a SaaS API based. It means that since it's a subscription, if your customers are not happy with what you're delivering, they just cut you, and it's over. I mean, they're not stuck with you, so you have to perpetually improve the solution and making sure that you're delivering value to them for the money they're paying you. I think it's a healthy relationship. And
yeah, it's a lot of pressure, but that forces you to improve.
Exactly. And again, this slide is more about being proud of what we do. It's just to, we know, even for you, when you're an agency or freelance, you need references. It's important when you want to convince to a customer that you're able to do big projects or similar projects, e-commerce or something else. And it's the same for us. If we want to convince you that we're able to do big project and we're stable and reliable, that's how we can show it.
Yeah, and taking this one step further, if you are selling a multilingual project to a big customer, they will want to see what type of product you use, or they want to at least be sure that you're using a reliable partner when it comes to the choice of tools that you are making. So selling them on Weglot and showing them that Weglot is working with IBM, LA Phil, Sennheiser, Microsoft, and so on, that will erase any doubts in your own capabilities as well, because you have such a powerful tool in your tool stack.
Yes, thanks for that. If one day we're part of the pitch and people can choose you because you have us, that would be.
Definitely tell Augustin about that.
Tell it about me. We'll do a video about that. But maybe, that's one of the goals we have. One day it will happen. It's not today, but one day it will happen.
I've seen that multiple times in pitches that I've done, is that people wanted to know what type of tools are behind the website so that they could be sure that I'm not just a one-man show trying to take on a project that's way too big for me, but rather that I'm knowing what I'm doing and that they get a solution that they can trust on as well. It's like buying a car, if you will. Like, you don't buy a car from a brand you don't trust. So the brand needs to do something to instill that trust for you. So they have those crash tests and reports and analysis and stuff like that. And it's the same with credentials for the tools we use, I feel.
Yeah, and I guess when you want to use new accessory and you need to find the right brand to do that, to do all that, you know what you're talking about. And one of the obviously the core value you're providing is about creating, crafting, and deploying and publishing the website, web application. But it's also about how you can boost it with additional features and choose the right provider. So there is obviously a hosting provider, but also it can be about sending emails, having a search bar, or having multilingual with us.
Yeah, couldn't agree more.
But so next slide, I already showed it. Enough about us. Now we talk about you. So that's what the boring part about Wiglet and describing ourselves and how great we are, or we hope we are. and now we don't have any comments or questions, so I'll just text the next slide.
Maybe we are so great that people are intimidated. So please don't be.
No, no, we're not. No, we're not. So please tell us we're not that great, and share any questions you have. And yeah, so now it's about you, agencies, freelancers, and how it's part also of our strategy. And when I say that, it's because we heard so many times this type of comments from agencies when we're talking about multilingual. It's technical stability. I'm not going to name any of my competitors, but when it comes to WordPress, we know that it's an issue. I mean, you don't need to.
Peter just chimed in that Weglot is a really great project. Peter, thank you.
Thank you very much. So we know it's an issue, and I think that's one of the reasons why we're here. The other thing, it's time efficiency. When you're selling a product to a client or a customer, your value is not to spend hours digging into where the strings are, taking them back to the client, or even integrating the translations. I mean, that's not where you're making money. And then in the end, it's the global setup of the website. When you think you have everything done, there is still, how am I 100% sure is going to work for SEO? We all know that SEO is the part the client sees, and it's very key. So if you have a German version and you can't see it when you're typing keywords in German, that's a problem.
It really is. It really is. And also what I would like to add to that is one of the agency pains that I've seen in my own project is that your customers are not aware of all the types of content that they need to translate. So again, from a conversation I had with your partnership manager, Thomas, is you need to have a list of all the contents that need to be translated. And it's great if you as an agency can provide that rather than forcing your client to come up with that. So that would impact, obviously, the website contents. It also touches on all the emails that you're sending, because if you have an English website you're offering in French, and you have the lead generation in French too, people will expect a French newsletter to come. They won't expect an English newsletter to come. Same is for image descriptions and alt texts. If you have the accessibility in mind, for example, if you have screen readers going through the website and you read the French transcription of an English text, you need to have the French alt text of the image there as well, rather than just the French text. And then video captions, transcriptions, all that other good stuff is something that you need to keep in mind when you are tackling such a project.
Yeah, thanks for that, Ian. You're totally right, and I'm obviously talking for my product, but one thing which can be seen as a benefit for you is that Weglot detects all the strings, including medias, including metadata, and so on. So when you have listed the different content that would be translated by the customer, the end user, you don't need to dig into where they are and how and did you get everything and so on. Wiglet will do that for you automatically, and then you can.
Sorry to interrupt. That is such a great point. I just wanted to share a story. I worked on a multilingual WooCommerce shop like 1 year ago, and it was based on the Avada theme, which isn't the best theme in the beginning, but it's something that I had to use in that project. Finding out where to translate the WooCommerce snippets on the product pages took me 30 minutes with the .mo and .po files, because I wasn't sure whether that's in the Avada theme, whether that's in WooCommerce plugins, whether that is in WooCommerce core itself. So that was 30 minutes of my time I'll never get back. And having a tool who searches that for me, no matter whether it's Weglot or a different tool, that is a game changer in itself.
And maybe the reason why it's working like this is because we're doing it in a different way than other solutions within WordPress or outside of WordPress. What other solutions do is that they're trying to see where the text and the content is coming from, and you need to go to the source and change it in the source and have variables and play with that. That's That's not a bad way. That's how it has always been. But we decided that we could do it better just by using Weglot at the just before the page is sent to the browser. Let me explain myself just 2 minutes. It's a bit technical, but it's
Of course.
important to understand how Weglot works. When you're using Weglot, what we do is we're looking at the HTML page. So we're just getting the strings, the way the search engines are looking at it, or the way the human visitors are looking at it. So this way, we're getting everything from a page, and we're getting that translated, replaced, and then served to the browser or to the server, depending on the integration. For WordPress, it's server side. For other OC also, but you can have a browser side integration. Anyway, so this way of working allows you to never have to look at where the strings are and where are they coming from.
Yeah, and you've just gotten a very big compliment from Matt Frost from ThemeCo. He gives you kudos for the technical stability and ease of use that they tested with X and Pro.
Thanks a lot, Matt. I really appreciate it.
And thanks for being here, Matt.
So if we go on the next slide, so now it's about how, I mean, it's again about Weglot and how we try to match and to cover these needs and these pains. So one solution is always being very simple. We're I mean, it's not, we're not trying to build a product my grandmother could use, but and we're trying to be as close as possible to that. So you should be able to integrate it whether you're a great developer or you never touch the code. The other thing is, which is important, and when I say that, it's because you don't want to try to ask yourself, is it compatible with X? Do I need to add another plugin on top of it to make it work with Y, and so on and so on. Then number two is you should have a solution that you can easily hand over to the client if it's relevant. Sometimes the client want to monitor and manage part of the project, and it can be the case with content. And since translations are still content, it's easy to hand it over to the client, and you can even give him access to it without giving him access to the WP admin. So he can work on his side in parallel of your development workflow. And sometimes you don't want to give him access because you don't want to be involved, and you can just keep it within your team. It's also easy to involve other people of your team. And the last part is we're only doing one thing, which is providing a translation and multilingual solution. So it's an all-in-one translation solution because you can have obviously SEO, but we're making sure it's performing, and we're trying to do it the best we can. So that's if they need translation solution for, I mean, if they need to order professional translation, they can do it from there. If they need to give access to a freelancer, they can, the client itself themselves, they can give access to their freelancers. So they actually, when it comes to translation, they don't need to go outside of it. That's why it's also easy to hand it over to the client in parallel of the development work.
And that's actually a really important point, because oftentimes you would see that projects get stuck because the clients don't work on the content for whatever reason. Maybe they don't understand how to create the content. Maybe they don't know what type of content they need to create. But having a tool that you can give to clients because it's easy to use, and that you can then also, what I think you can also do is you can create teams with various access rights inside Weglot, so that you can split up who can edit what, so that your client does not mess up things that are already translated properly. That is something that every multilingual project needs to have.
Yeah, thank you, Jan. Yes, exactly. I mean, the goal is, I mean, we all have had to do a website, even us, and we know content is a critical part, because you think you're going to be up to date, but you're always late with content. You don't know why, because you don't if you don't have someone to do that is doing only that, it's taking you're always late about it. So that's one way of not being late for the translation. And actually, when I mean, when people are talking about translation and multilingual for projects with agencies or freelancers, I mean, I guess you're all telling to yourself, okay, it's going to be phase 2, or we're never going to do that because he's going to be late. They're going to be late on every other part. They need to be involved, and this one would, I mean, it will be removed from the state of work, and that's a way to do two things. One is not postpone it, keep it in phase 1, and 2 is price it, because it takes, I mean, it's a feature you're including in the website. It's not as even if it's easy with us, it should be priced in the whole work you're providing to the customer.
Yep, I agree. It just improves the value that you are delivering to the customer so much that I think it's just a no-brainer. If you have a customer who is active in various countries, then you should have a multilingual solution in the project by any means, but then also you are not giving them the easy way out, if you will, by not doing the multilingual solutions because of the workload. You're reducing the workload with tools like Weglot.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks for that. So why choosing us? I don't have questions, so I pitch myself.
Please do. I'll bug you with questions afterwards.
Yeah. So we tried to do a dedicated web agency program, and we're still doing it. We believe it's a good thing. We're not trying to do that to hard sell you on Wiglet. It doesn't work. We tried it too. It doesn't work. But it's more about, I guess it's having an open communication with a type of usage and customers and promoters that are not the rest of our users, and you have expectations that are generally higher. So it's important for us to hear you. So we have one guy inside in-house that is dedicated to this program. The goal is he is doing at least one call a month with any agency that want to talk to us. He's also putting together specific documentation and specific resources that could be used by agencies. And we're always super open to any questions or any feedbacks that are coming from you. One thing we have, not just for you, but I think you might be interested in it too. It's we have an open roadmap, a public roadmap. It's not the actual roadmap we're following in the dev team, but it's more like I'd say a features request roadmap. That's where you can suggest features, and you can upvote others that have been suggested before. So it's another way to have an open communication channel with you. I think that's one point. So we're trying to have this program. We call it a program. I don't know if it's the right name, but it's more that it's more communication and channel between you and us. And then what we do, and we're doing it specifically, I mean, maybe more intensively for you, but we're also doing it for all our customers because it's in our DNA. It's super reactive support team of experts. It's really important to us. I mean, we all had issues with support, whether it's digital products or not, and you can't run relationships harder or better than with a bad support experience. So that's that's something we did from day one. I mean, the first year of Weglot, we did support 90% of the day with Remy. And it's just something that's super important to us, to provide a great experience, to have immediate answers, and also to have a healthy communication between feedbacks and the developer team. And then it's more about referrals, but we already have hundreds of web agencies using Weglot, hundreds of freelancers using us, and I think that's something that proves that we're the type of products and partners that you can rely on, and then you can sell and make money with. I don't think you make money by getting a percentage of the sale you're doing with us, but we have an affiliate program. I don't think that's something you're looking for. You're more looking for having more time to do more value added tasks, and being able to answer large projects with a big multilingual feature or layer, and you can
Yeah.
easily rely on us.
I think that is a very important point to highlight is when you're taking on multilingual projects, you should charge appropriately. So we're probably not talking about a $3,000 or $4,000 website, but rather a $10,000 website with everything that adds to a multilingual project. And if you're taking on a project at that scale, what you need is a strong partner in your background, whether that's Weglot or whether that's a different provider. Obviously, you've seen by now Wiglet know what they're doing, and they are dedicated, as you can tell that by their CEO coming onto this event, rather than just, with all respect to Thomas, a partnership manager. He's a great guy. I think that especially from my personal experience, when I'm doing projects where I know that I have to integrate with a third-party solution, more than once the project went south because of that solution provider, because of them not being willing to communicate, not willing to open an API, not willing to share documentation, just not following best practices really in some situations. And what you want to do is when you're evaluating tools like Weglot is you want to have this direct access to people. It's the same with the conversation we had with WP Engine and their partnership program as well. They have almost 5,000 agencies in their partnership program. And one of the benefits is you get direct access to WP Engine. They can help you co-sell even if the project demands it. So that is something that you definitely should take advantage of if you're facing a multilingual project, is have somebody jump to your side when your customer asks you questions that you can't answer directly in the first place.
Exactly. And you can use this to answer questions about multilingual and translations. You can use this as a how do you say that, white label. So we can give you the answer, and you take them, and you handle the communication with your client and the end user. Or you can either also involve us in the communication loop, and we'll be happy to answer a pre-sales question and obviously support questions. The goal is you can take this out of your brain bandwidth, and you're just getting the value for it.
That's a pretty important benefit. So that is weglot.com/partners if you want to learn more. And I've seen a few familiar faces on that list already, so that is good to see. What does it take for an agency to get listed there?
You just send an email to us, and if you have a project running on Wiglet, that's okay. That's all it takes.
Brilliant. So what better credentials can your agency get than being listed on the website of a software that works with Microsoft and Nikon and all these other amazing brands that we've just seen? I mean, that's a no-brainer. I would immediately do that with any project I have running on Weglot.
And we're actually in the process of redoing this page to make it a bit more easy to browse and to find agencies based on location and technologies. I mean, you'll see it soon.
Stop teasing. I love it. That is so cool to see.
So thank you. I think I sold myself a lot, and now I'd rather answer questions you might have either in the private chat, comments, or your questions, Jan, if you have any. Maybe one question for you, Jan.
Yeah.
So you're organizing this great event, WP Agency. Thanks again for having me. But you're also web agency owner, and you're running projects and you're having clients. What is your, I don't know, top 3 features or services that you outsource and with no-brainer solutions?
That is a really good question. The biggest one that I outsource is actually maintenance and support. I outsource that to WP Buffs with their white label program. That is a big one. Yeah, with Joe. Yeah, and their service is a bit pricey compared to competitors. I will say that, but their what excels for me is the skill of communication that the team has, It's just so easy to communicate with them. So that is the biggest one by far. What I would also outsource every now and then is speed optimization. If I don't have time to do that, I have a friend by the name of Piyush Patel who I trust and who does that. And then the last no-brainer solution, I wouldn't say it's outsourcing, but I keep recommending all the time, and that is Cloudways for hosting. That is the biggest one. And I'm pretty sure if I had more multilingual projects, Weglot would be on this list too, but I just don't have any.
Yeah. It's not about us. It's really about you.
It's not about trying to make you feel good or trying to sell Weglot. It's just something that I believe in, because I've seen so many demos by now, and I've seen Thomas use it on the WP Agency website, and I've had many private conversations with Thomas Franchin from Weglot by now. So it is a friendship that has developed over time, even though we never met in person and we're 1,000 kilometers away from each other. I would consider him a friend, and we have some very good, fun communication via Twitter. So it's definitely something that doesn't happen with any business I work with, is that the employees of the business care so much about the customers, or even just partners. I'm not even paying Weglot, you are paying me, and you're not paying me to say nice things about Weglot. So I'm definitely grilling Thomas in the session. But it's nice to see how much you care about the community.
Thanks a lot. Yeah, I mean, it has been very, very important to us at the very beginning. It helped us to get our first users, first customers. We had a very great welcome from the community in France, and people actually answering you and giving you advice. So yeah, it was great. So for us, it's super important to give back, and to be super honest, it's also a way to getting more visibility for Weglot. We can say it's a one-way action. It's also about obviously being more visible and trying to get more users. So it's a two ways action: giving back and being more visible.
Yeah, definitely. And I would love to take this opportunity to change topics a little bit and to ask you to give us a look behind the scenes of Weglot. Like, since we don't have any questions around multilingual projects right now, I think we have the process of how to run a multilingual project set in combination with Thomas' session and our webinar here. That pretty much outlines how an agency can sell multilingual projects using Weglot or any other tool for that matter. I would love to know, I would love to dive deeper into the story behind Weglot. So you already mentioned that Remy and you started Weglot because of personal pain points, and then you spoke to the community members to install the snippet and to basically get the initial momentum going for Weglot. I would love to hear a little bit about how you approach team building and growing your team. What was it like to hire the first 5 people, and then how did you scale to 20?
Sure. I mean, we are very pragmatic people with Remy, I guess, and we're not good at hiring. So we tend to wait for being really under pressure in terms of workload before hiring, which is good and bad. It's good because it's very pragmatic decisions. It's bad because maybe sometimes we could have been faster if we had hired people sooner. But the 5 first people we hired, it was in 2017, and it's Florent, the lead developer on the API and dashboard. Then I'm not gonna name all of them, but it's the oldest one, and yeah, I mean, at Weglot it's pretty. I mean, since for almost 4 years, it was only 3 teams: developer team, support team, and marketing team. And then we had 2 more people this year. One the year before. Sorry, Meryl. She's taking care of everyone, so doing office management, but also HR, administrative, finance. She's doing a lot. She's great. And we have also Laura. So she's head of sales and only sales for now. And yeah, because at the beginning of the year we we had more and more, we received more and more interest and a request for higher usage, more services on top of the product. So we felt it was time maybe to start an enterprise offer, which we did. So she joined us to build that.
That is really interesting. I think many people on this summit are looking for bigger clients. And from all the conversations I've had during this summit so far is that one of the things comes up over and over again is that people don't charge enough for their projects, and they're looking for clients who could pay bigger projects, but also they struggle with mental issues like imposter syndrome, for example, because they don't charge enough because they don't feel they should charge what they are worth. It is a very personal question, and you have all right in the world to say no to this question. I would love to know what some of the challenges for you were in growing Weglot. It can't have been easy.
Yeah, I guess it's maybe I was not the right person to test pricing. I guess. I mean, we tested a lot. I mean, we're just to give you a quick overview. We're mainly a self-serve company, so it's really about you come, you take the plan that covers your needs, and it can be €0. We have a free plan. It can be 500 euros a year, which is what people pay in general at Wiglet. And that's okay. But it's compared to other software, it's quite low pricing. But that's okay. That's what it costs us, and it's what other competitors are doing, and so on. And it's also the type of customers, the budget they have, and we love that. I mean, we're so happy to have. I mean, we have 50,000 paying customers today to date, and it's mostly SMB's company and no Fortune 500 or no whatsoever, and that's great, and we're super happy with that. And we never tried to chase big clients because we don't want to be a service company. We want to be a product company, and if you want to be a product company, you can't be dependent on one or two or three or five clients. You have to be massive, and that's the way you're also improving your product super fast. And on the other hand, we have more and more bigger companies coming in, and we thought we could add some small stuff, features to the most expensive plans, and also services, like when you add SLAs or MSAs, and which is service level agreements, and you also have sometimes they need specific customization, so they need the solution engineer, and that's something you can't offer out of the box, and something you need to price. And uh, and I was not the right person to test pricing, so that's also a reason why we hired someone that could do that without having all the experience we had with Weglot, and we said, okay, now it's time to test pricing. So go for it.
How did you realize that you needed somebody else and that you weren't the right person for that?
I mean, two things. First, I didn't have the time to spend. To spend enough time to make it work. I mean, I could take 1 or 2, 3 leads a week and making the demo and so on. But it's if you want to make sure it's succeeding or not. So if you want to make sure you have an answer to your questions, you need to be more dedicated to it. So that's why we and also maybe I was not as good as I thought. So we need to take someone who was better than me. So someone who did that, who liked that, and who could be able to also test pricing, because I think I'm too shy. I mean, I think I in my head I'm too afraid to lose a customer, so I'd rather maybe lose money on someone than price higher.
Yeah,
maybe, I don't know, but I know it's a BA. I don't know how you say that, but it's something I have inside me, and it was good to have someone that that should not have this ambiguity.
I appreciate your honesty. That really is something I think that many more people need to hear, is that even if you are running a successful company, you still have these challenges. They don't go away magically just because you have 50,000 clients, or they don't go away just because you have 200 employees. It's still very much a mind game, from my experience, that you have to make the tough choices. You have to face things that you aren't good at. And one thing that struck with me that you just said is, I have to hire somebody that's better than me and that's smarter than me in that specific area of what they are going to do. And that is something I think that I personally too, I need to be much more aware of that, and I need to be much more proactive in hiring people rather than trying to figure out everything myself and driving myself into the ground with this.
Yeah, I mean, it's again, there are many things I'm not good at, or I'm not the best. Being with hiring people that are way better than me, it's so, I mean, it's so great. It's just it goes faster, and it's getting better results, obviously.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah, I agree. How do you make sure that the culture at Weglot stays intact? That all the people are happy, that working for you, that they stay productive, that they work as a team, and that good stuff?
That's a tough question. How do we make sure the culture stays and remains? I think that's something we try to detect during the interview. All full-time position, the final round, it's with Remy and I. I mean, we're 20 people, so it's easy to do. And we make sure, I mean, the hard skills, you can change them. The soft skills, you can't change them. So if we have a doubt on soft skills, generally, I mean, we never go further. So it's really about detecting that, and it's more important to be able to have signals and red flags for that. So I guess it's during the hiring process, and then after the hiring process, if we failed at detecting them and we see them, I guess it also means that they are not happy being with us, because it's not an environment where they can be successful, and they're happy to wake up every morning and come to work, or go on their computer. So it's a natural next step to just split.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a good perspective. I've had this conversation with the WP Engine panel as well. Hire fast and fire even faster at some point, because it's really that just one person who isn't happy can spoil the entire team, and can just infect all the other employees with negativity and stuff like that. And I've asked that out of pure selfishness, to be honest, because I'm struggling with that myself when I'm working with a team in certain projects. I have one VA that works for me full time, and then on a project basis I bring on other people. It's really hard with remote teams, especially now these times, to keep them all productive, keep them all happy without micromanaging them and stepping on their toes every day.
Yeah, I mean, again, we did not come from a 100% remote company at the very beginning, so we were not used to it. But now we don't have any choice. It's COVID everywhere.
True, yeah.
So everyone is remote, and I guess we're part of the lucky ones. I mean, we have jobs that can be easily done from home, and we also have jobs where it's not that hard to measure if it's done or not. And on the other hand, it requires a lot of maturity, and I said autonomy, to be able to be productive and happy. So it's hard for junior positions, I would say. If you're quite senior or more, it's easier to do, and if you're only doing management, it's harder to do, because some of them were used to do time stamping people, or time checking people, and now they need to actually assess if they're doing their job or not, which is harder to do. But anyway, yeah, I think it's mostly a question of types of jobs and seniority.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a great answer. And I'm glad that Matt Frost is coming on tomorrow with a session about managing remote teams specifically. So just for selfish reasons, I'm super excited for that. And I know that many people are as well, because that's besides hiring and the mental aspect, managing a remote team is something that always comes up on the summit as well in the conversations. Now, we do have like 5 to 10 minutes left. I would love for you to give us a perspective on what's coming up for Weglot. What are some of the great things lying ahead of us?
Yeah, I mean, with pleasure. We didn't have any questions. That's too bad, but
Not anymore, no.
People are shy, probably.
Yeah,
So,
but we have feedback like this, so that is always encouraging.
Yeah, it is. It is. Thank you very much. So next steps for Wiglet. On the product part, we're always trying to improve and accelerate our improvement velocity. So we hired people, and we are including the tech team. So it's going to be different aspects. It's going to be performance. It's going to be usability and ease of use of the dashboard always, and it's also our universal version. So now you can use Wiglet on WordPress, Shopify with dedicated apps, but now you can use Wiglet on any other platforms, whether you're using a CMS or no CMS. And that's
so even on plain HTML.
Yeah.
Wow. Nice.
Yeah, we have a new way of doing it, which is new. It's 1 year and a half, so it's not that new. But so basically, when if you have any, let's say, pure HTML, you just have a domain name. You go into your DNS and you're authorizing us to serve the subdomains. But what we're gonna do is, when someone is requesting the German page of an English website, it's gonna be de.mywebsite.com, for example, and it's gonna be us serving the page. Nice. And you just have to add one entry in your DNS. That's something you can do, or even if you don't know how to code, you can do also.
Yeah. And we keep getting positive comments, so at least people watching this are enjoying our conversation.
Thank you very much, Matt.
That's a good thing, and that is more important than getting spam comments, I guess.
Yeah, of course. And what's coming up for us, and we keep trying to be involved in the community and talking to WordPress specifically. We're trying to get closer to WooCommerce. That's something that could come in the coming month. We'll see. And nice. We're trying to support also every online initiatives and events. We know it's not that easy to transition from pure physical events to fully online events. We experienced how hard it can be as a sponsor and supporters, and so we're trying to support the initiatives that are successful and growing, whether it's meetups, WordCamps, summits, whatever. But that's things we would love to be involved in.
So everybody interested in working with Weglot for their own event, definitely reach out to Augustin. So let me just bring up the slides again. So that is weglot.com, augustin@weglot.com, to reach out to him. And also make sure until October 17th to visit the booth at the WP Agency Summit, because there is some really cool giveaways going on in the booth. And I'm sorry that I can't spin the wheel because I'm the host of this whole thing, but definitely try your luck, spin the wheel, and win 1 year of free Weglot for free, amongst other cool things. Augustin, I would say we'll leave it at that. I think we don't have any further questions coming on. People enjoy the conversation so far. Thank you so much for coming on.
Thanks a lot, Jan. Thanks to everyone.